And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Enhanced Performance and Recovery Masterclass. We are very excited to be bringing this to you, and I will be jumping in first. Matt will be not too far away. He is just putting our kids down to sleep, so fingers crossed. Chances are that just because we are trying to do this, they might not go to bed as smoothly, which they normally would. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and we are going to get started. And let me first up jump in and share a screen with you. Okay, so hopefully this will let me share screen to you. Okay, awesome. All right, so I am just opening up the chat box as well. So I'm going to keep that handy. So if you have any questions along the way, please jump in and ask them in the chat box. And this way, I will try and answer them along the way. If I don't, I will jump back though and check the chat box before we finish up so I can answer any of your questions. Okay, so let's dive right in to the Enhanced Performance and Recovery Masterclass. So excited to bring this to you. We are going to cover today a few tips, tricks, and of course, some of our favorite tools and how to actually use them, integrate them, and why we use them when it comes to enhancing our performance overall. Now, who we are. So I was hoping Matt could do his own intro if he comes, but basically we are mum and dad, husband and wife. We are business owners. I am a manifesting generator, and Matt is a generator for our human design lovers out there. We're a little bit of science and practical and all of that, and a little bit of the woo spiritual side as well. So this is quite exciting because we often have people that will comment to us like, I had no idea how quite spiritual or intuitive and things like that, that you actually run and operate and are, which is, and especially when it comes to using being all natural, low tox living, love our oils, all of this kind of thing, and versus this, I guess, very not different because it's so integrated and we're just who we are, but I guess we're perceived a little bit differently than that, maybe just a little, when we're in the studio and teaching our really in depth, I suppose, and science backed kind of wording when it comes to the physical and exercise component. So a bit of both. We are health and nature lovers. If you come and stayed in a house or walked into our home, you will see that we live and walk and talk exactly what we teach and educate. Everything that we teach, we share, we encourage, we coach on is exactly all of the things that we do in our life to truly thrive and enhance. And we are always looking at ways to do that. We are always looking at ways to elevate our own health and wellness, whether that's through cool biohacking toys or strategies and tools, whether that is through different nutrition and things like that, like adaptogenics and all of this kind of stuff that we might be looking at. We're always diving into those things. We're always looking at ways to elevate our own health and wellness naturally and to really optimize and close that gap in health span and lifespan, which is what we'll be talking about. So we'll be integrating a little bit of our the physical side and components that we teach in the studio, along with the essential oils and natural products that we use doTERRA as well. So we'll be integrating both of those, which is very cool throughout this session. And we are forever learners and educators in all things health and wellness. They're so integrated and we love it. Okay, so like I said, I was kind of hoping Matt was going to be here to do his own little spiel. So he is my husband. And also we run our fitness studio in Nuit Sundays together. We have 3 kids. We have 3 boys, 7, 5, and 2. They are exactly what you could imagine a house of 3 boys would be like. Super noisy, super energetic, all of the things, all of the time. Everything revolves around football and motorbikes. So as you can imagine, we are, there's a whole lot of activity, a whole lot of potential for injuries, a whole lot of actual injuries and accidents and things that happen to our family. So a little bit on how we navigate all of those. Matt has just, he says this, but I'm hoping has played his last football games over the weekend. So he is officially retired again. He came out of retirement this year and was playing in our local rugby league team that he has played for many years, since under 8. So football, he lives and breathes, and this is rugby league. So he jumped out of retirement, played a few games this year, which at 38 years old, to have the level of health and fitness that he does, to just jump in fairly unprepared, not training specifically for football and being specifically match fit, to be able to do that without any injuries the first half of the year, which is quite interesting because the meta power component that we're going to talk about, he had been taking in the last few weeks with 0 injuries, compared to the first half of the season where he had a few niggles, hamstrings, broken ribs, which you can't really help, and things like that. So a little bit about us. So in particular, when we heard about the release of the 3-part cellular metabolic system, which I'll talk about, as well as our performance bundles, as well as our trigger point components. But when this was released fairly recently, this brought a lot of excitement to us, because we, in our studio, we teach fitness for health, and we educate, and how we program for our clients in the gym is to be able to maintain a health-based fitness approach, so that you're able to move better for longer, to around vitality, longevity. Those are kind of the slogans of our studio. So when the MetaPower was released, a 3-part system that targets multiple systems internally to support the internal body systems, this was super exciting to us. When we program, we're looking at the fascia, the tissue lines, we're looking at bones, joints, muscles, the neuromuscular system, we're looking at the nervous system. So we're training all of these brain cognitive function, all of this when we're designing programs. So to have that internal whole body system support, this was super exciting for us, and so in alignment with what we do. So I'm trying to keep this confined, but I'm going to go AWOL, I know. Okay, so we are going to discuss today, I'm going to try and keep it down to the 3. So we're going to talk about trigger point. So this is such an absolutely underrated tool that everybody should be doing every day to optimize their performance for real life, just for daily living, let alone if you're an elite athlete. This is such a missing component. So this is something that you can definitely incorporate daily, some form of it daily, and then some form of it you might incorporate weekly. So we're going to talk about trigger point myofascial release techniques, and we're going to blend in some hydration into that as well. So we're talking proper hydration, proper bound hydration, not just drinking enough water. So we're going to dive a little deeper into that. Health span versus lifespan. So bridging the gap between being healthy and living longer. So we want to bridge that gap so that we can live healthier for longer. So our last days are spent doing things that we love, and are, I want to be still doing bushwalks and things like that right up to my last days. So I want to be enjoying nature. I want to be doing things. And we're going to talk then the tools and implementation, how to actually utilize these in a proactive, preventative injury, preventative health, proactive health approach versus a reactive. So we will talk about how to use that reactively when something does happen, but we want to be doing it in a proactive way, because this is going to prevent us in most cases from getting there in the first place. Okay, so let's dive in. We're talking trigger point and myofascial release. Okay, so we have got This here is a trigger point ball. This is actually a deep blue, ice blue trigger point ball. I got this in one of the release kits, but in the kits, the performance bundles that have been released just for this month, so they are a limited time, they come with heated stone massage balls. Now, these would absolutely be perfect for using for trigger point in some cases. And we also, you can use a tennis ball or a golf ball. So in our studio, this will be the best $5 you ever spend in your life, by a tennis ball and a golf ball. So you can do it with that. So this is an absolutely extremely underestimated daily strategy because of the role that the tissue lines and the myofascial lines play in our whole body functioning overall. So when we talk trigger point, so basically trigger point is a process of applying pressure to a specific area in the body and then releasing it. So when we press into that area and we want to incorporate the breath, I'll show you actually how to do that in a moment. So when we apply that pressure, we take a big breath in, apply that pressure and breathe out as we do that, because we want the area to relax. So if you imagine, if you imagine all of the connective tissue is like a spider web. So you'll see in this picture here. So it's like a spider web. If there is a knot or, tension or some kind of entanglement in the tissue here, and it's pulling, it pulls in all directions from everywhere. So a lot of the time when we're feeling pain over here in the shoulder, that isn't necessarily the cause, because if that knot is somewhere else in the body and pulling everything down, as it pulls the joint areas closer together. And that's where we get that compression or the bone on bone, and that's when we start to feel pain. Okay, so doing this when you are in pain is a great strategy, but you can also do it as a preventative and a really great way to trigger point all over the body often, so that you can pick up when those kind of niggles are there and you can get them out quite easily. So these are pretty common things that people have experienced when we talk like knots, pretty much is what most people would know them as, a knot in the body. And that just checking the questions. So a kind of knot, or you've been to a massage therapist or something like that, where they've got to get in and try and release that knot. So essentially that's what that is that tissue line. There's some kind of tension in there, and this can be from like holding or anything like that. So when we have that kind of knot, it's pulling everything down and it's pulling all of the joints close together, or all of the bones kind of closer together. And that's where we get that kind of tightness and stiffness, stuckness in the body. So we want to release that and have it untangled. So if we've got that spaciousness and that length and that flow in our tissue lines, that creates space inside the body. And if you imagine that bones are floating around in the body, that's going to allow everything to move smoothly, all our joint areas to move smoothly. If there's any tension and pulling, we're getting this knocking kind of feeling, okay? So as I mentioned before, now our tissue is a honey-like consistency. So it is when it's in the fridge, when it's cold, when in the mornings, usually you would notice, when that's cold, it's very thick and sticky and stuck, and it's hard to kind of move and stretch it out. When it comes like honey on the stove or microwave, when you pull it out, not microwave, but you pull it out and it's hot, honey just pours like water, and that's what our tissue's like. So when it's heated up, so when we heat up the area, that becomes more fluid and more adaptable. So we want that area to be nice and warm. Then we can do that trigger point that we're going to do to release that area, and the tissue is going to be more adaptable and actually adapt to what we're doing. Versus, so you could use a heat pack, you could just use like a rub and scrub to heat up the area. So you could do that now just to see what that feels like. So if you just rub the skin, you'll feel it get quite warm. This is a really great strategy for loosening areas up, and it's actually quite intuitive for us to do this when we're in pain. So when we heat that up, it allows that fluid kind of consistency in the connective tissue. So it's going to be more adaptable. It's going to help to create more space in the body. Now, also when we heat it up by doing that rub and scrub, we're creating blood flow, circulation. We're helping to flush out any inflammation that might be in that area as well. So this is talking sort of on a reactive kind of way. But if we're doing these trigger points often, which we do prior to every session. So when clients come in to start a workout, they always start with some trigger point before every session. We do some foam rolling and some trigger point. So this is a really great way to self-assess the body and to see what is going on. So you can pick up any of those knots in the system when they're quite small, or so that you can release them quite early without even realizing. So when we are using these, as I mentioned before, you're applying pressure. As you breathe out, you want that area to relax. So if you imagine getting a knot out of a piece of string, if you pull it tight, you can't untangle it. So you need to loosen the end so you can wriggle it, and it's going to be able to untangle. So that's like our tissue. We don't want to be pulling and then trying to trigger point. We want it to be soft, juicy, jiggly. That's what we want it to be like, so I can press. So we are usually doing this against a wall or against the ground. So you can lie down on the ground, or you can stand up if you're doing the bottom of the feet, or you can lean up against a wall to do the back and hips. Okay, so where we start with these. So we're doing these on the bottom of the foot. Any injury or niggle or aches or pains or just preventative, like, starts in the feet. Like, everything starts in the feet. So our first go-to is always the feet, and this is where a a golf ball is really great. It's nice and small, so you can get into those spots, and you're basically just going to stand on the ball and roll it under the foot. So you're just going to kind of roll for a second and then stop. You want to find a spot that is a little bit uncomfortable. Take a big breath in, and then breathe out as you press down on that spot, so it's quite uncomfortable, to the end of the breath, and then release. Okay, so it's acting like a suction. So when you push down, you're flushing out any dead cells, blood, lymph, which is waste product in the body. And then as you release, it's flushing that area full with new blood, clean oxygen, things like that, and hydration as well. So that is where we do it. So we start in the bottom of the feet, and when we're doing a full workshop, so we do 3-hour workshops on these where we actually do the whole body from head to toe. But generally, we would do the bottom of the feet. Do the hips as well is one we always do. So you would actually just get in the hips, between the bone there, start there and work your way around into the glute. Now, if you have any kinds of things like sciatic pain, niggles, lower back, anything like that, the hips are an absolute must. And I could pretty much tell you, so when someone comes in and says that, they've got a niggling back, I can tell you straight away where it's going to hurt, specifically, because it's those tissue lines that are linked. So when I talk tissue lines, we use the Anatomy Trains myofascial tissue lines, which basically has 7 kind of links of the tissue lines. So if someone has an injury kind of here, you're doing some trigger point over here, it's targeting that spiral tissue line. So we've got a spiral, deep frontal, superficial frontal, back line, lateral line. So there's different tissue lines generally that it kind of follows. So if someone's got some kind of injury, we can follow those lines up the train. Now, all of those lines start in the bottom of the feet. So that's another reason we always start in the bottom of the feet, because we can target anywhere in the body using the feet. We can also use the reflexology cards as well. We always have those handy in our studio so that we can show people certain areas, or that they can use and reference if they want to look at something in particular. Okay, so we start by the feet, we do the hips, in and around the glute area, which you're definitely going to feel something if you've ever had any niggles with groin, lower back, and sciatic and things like that. Is that you, Matt? Maybe you still putting kids to bed. And then you can work up the spine. You can do either side of the spine if you like, but my next go-to, if you don't have a whole lot of time, is always the shoulders. So use it by leaning up against a wall. And so starting there, big breath in, breathe out as you press back onto it. And then we basically follow all the way down where the shoulder blades and the spine, so between the shoulder blades and the spine, you just kind of roll it down in there, in there, in there, and keep working your way down. And in and around those shoulder blades, another really common one. So this is going to release all that tension up around the neck, the head. If I've got any kind of niggling headache, stress, anything like that, it's always tends for me to hold up there. So I'm using my trigger point to get in and around all of those areas. So this is also going to help them with posture because you're releasing all of those tissue lines and allows everything freer and creates more space in the body. Okay. How's that? Any questions so far, drop them in the chat box. So when we're doing that tissue line release, basically we're targeting that. We're doing a few different things when we target that, but we're releasing the tissue, untangling the tissue lines so that we've got space in the body. And this is part of the protocols that we use specifically. So we've got specific protocols for injuries as well. So things like lower back and all of those that we work specific with. And always our goal first up is to create space in the body. So we want to calm the nervous system and then we want to create space. So when we're working, we always want to be using the breath through that. And then before we do anything else as well. So I might just touch on the hydration here as well. So bound hydration. So when we're taking a big drink of water, water just basically isn't enough on its own. So when we're talking about water, we want to be ideally incorporating minerals into that as well, because that is going to help to actually absorb and transfer that through the body into different body systems like and organs, blood, all of these kinds of things. So for that transfer to happen, we need more than just water in there. So something like a almond tea was a really great one. I think they've just stopped shipping to Australia though, which is a real bummer. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, otherwise you can get things like trace minerals. So iHerb is another really great resource for that. So you can order any like some organic trace minerals to add to your water, and that is going to help with the actual absorption and utilization of that water. Now tissue as well will dry out. So that's also why we get quite during the morning really stiff and sticky and things like that, because our tissue will dehydrate very quickly. So it sits on, if you imagine those old school sponges that sit on the sink and they dry, if you're as old as me, you'll remember your mum having one. And then when you run them underwater, if you give them a squish, they like fill up really quickly and then they're squishy like a sponge again. So our tissue's a little bit like that too. So when we wake up in the morning, it's very dehydrated and sticky. So first thing in the morning, especially, we want to be having a big drink of water. Ideally, if we've got the trace minerals in there, that would be ideal. But for now, if you're just drinking water, big drink of water, and you want to combine that with movement. So when we're drinking and increasing water, especially, so a lot of people have the problem that when they increase their water intake, they just feel like they're going to the toilet more, which is probably true. You're probably just peeing most of it out. So to actually absorb and utilize that, when we take a big drink of water, we want to move. And it can be as basic as taking a big drink of water, standing up, doing some really nice stretches, touching toes, a few squats, anything. It's kind of twisting the feet and ankles, moving the shoulder blades. So we're forcing that hydration then into those joint areas, into the muscles, into the tissue, into the bones as well. And so that the body systems can actually absorb that. So if you take anything away from this that is so easy that you can implement right now, is to when you drink, have a big drink of water, make sure you are incorporating some kind of movement with that as well, because that's going to create bound hydration. Okay, now tissue lines will also not energy expensive. So muscles are energy expensive. We need food and the conversion of energy stores to be able to use them. However, tissue actually uses a spring and coil type release. So think tendons and ligaments. These are connective tissues. So they use a spring and coil, so they're not energy expensive for the body. So if we can train and utilize our body to use the tissue more than just muscles, we're going to be able to enhance our performance, but we also want to build resilient tissue so that we're not prone to things like torn ligaments and tendons, which become really common as we age and our collagen decreases. So we're going to talk a little bit about a specific collagen supplement in a minute that we use to support and enhance the tissue lines for aging in general, because it decreases massively as we age, but also in general to support that collagen function. And collagen is quite a buzzword, so we'll talk specifically about this one and why we use that in a few moments. But the connective tissue will also lay lines of stress, lay down on lines of stress in the body. So that is why we see when people are working on computers all the time, we'll often, after years, get quite that hunchback because the muscles are working really hard to hold you here. And the body is super smart, way smarter than your brain. And it goes, okay, well, this is really expensive for our muscles are working really hard right now. How about we just lay the tissue lines there and that will hold it in place. So then it holds you in place here. So a lot of the time when you think that muscles are tight here, it's actually that the tissue is holding you there to lock you into place. And this will happen very quickly from about 6 months. Then it will start to just hoping the kiddos don't wake. And then we also, so in the flip side to that, if we have terrible posture or things like that, or want to work on building resilient connective tissue and being able to train that connective tissue so that we can utilize it to become more energy efficient, then when we're talking performance and then also the recovery, then we want to be training that and reforming that connective tissue, which you're looking at around that sort of 6-month mark as well. So connective tissue is the longest to repair for after bones, muscles, then connective tissue. So post-pregnancy, for example, you're looking at 18 months to 2 years for the pelvic floor recovery to actually happen. So when we look at people that are heading back to training super early, this always concerns me because connective tissue takes a long time to actually repair. So personally for me, I was training very smartly, and it's only now, Dylan is to next week or this Sunday, and it's only recently that I've started doing a little bit more in high intensity, and that I'll start to incorporate more in high intensity now. But I alone even have limited that, knowing how critical connective tissue recovery is. He's kind of jumped in now and not really sure where I'm up to.
Take your time. Don't rush these things.
Training connective tissue. Do you want to do a quick couple of minutes spiel on training connective tissue and how that enhances performance? Spring
recovery comes into mind when I think connective tissue. So bound hydration, like I think you've already touched on, foam rolling, vibration, all those sorts of things. Taking your time, lengthening rather than stretching.
I've really thrown him in the deep end because he doesn't know what I've covered.
I've got no idea. Just the usual.
So when we
if you have
what the usual is.
If you've got sprains and inflammation, not using ice, but using different techniques like voodoo floss and wrapping and stuff like that to enhance blood flow, circulation. Those vibration platforms are ideal for this.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't cover that.
Yeah.
Cool. So creating that blood flow and circulation in and around areas of injury is, I did touch on that briefly before with the rub and scrub. You want to create that blood flow circulation so you can flush out that inflammation and stimulate the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump, whereas the blood has our heart to pump it around the body. Our lymphatic system, which is all our metabolic waste and waste product in the body, doesn't actually have a pump. So it will settle in joint and weak areas in the body. So if you're prone to lower back, as soon as your stress is increased, crappy sleep, anything like that, that waste product in the body is just going to settle there. So it needs movement to be flushing it through the body and to be able to excrete it. So it's finding the right kind of movement is absolutely critical. We don't have time to go through that. Got me way over. Sorry. Okay, so touching just quickly on training for training connective tissue, because that is more energy efficient and that is how we're going to increase performance really well, is to making sure you're incorporating a variety, and I might have that here, yeah, is to be able to, is incorporating a variety of training methods. So variability for specificity in your training styles. So if you are training for a marathon, just running isn't going to be as effective as if you were training other and the whole body systems and creating variability, because the body is going to be more resilient. Yeah, I'll see how much we expand, if we have time to expand more on that one. So here we're just looking at lifespan versus health span. So I kind of spoke about that before, and the wellness periods, and this is the wellness pyramid as well. So all of these will contribute to your performance, enhancing your performance and your recovery. And it's so underestimated, like absolutely is. So what you do daily truly matters more than what you're doing in the gym for half an hour, a couple of hours a week, or day. Excessive training I won't dive into as well, but that is a true issue. So in our studio, for example, our memberships are 2 to 3 sessions a week, because essentially if you're looking at health span, this is what you're doing. If you are looking specifically at performance for you're training for something in specific, that's going to look different. You will spend more time in the gym, but you also need to be spending a lot of time outside the gym as well, and that's also very underestimated. Now what you're doing outside is these things are absolutely going to contribute to enhancing your performance and recovery. So eating the right foods. We're not going to dive into nutrition today, but this is a big part of it. Well, we will a little bit actually. We're going to talk supplementation, but holistically eating good nutrient dense food, and I would be paying attention to the nutrient density of your food opposed to calories. This is a big thing I'm standing on at the moment, and I'm probably going to get a little lashback out on socials at some point, but counting calories even for weight loss is not going to work long term. So yeah, sure, it might work for short term, but it's not going to work long term if you are eating crappy food. Because if you're eating Nutella on toast because it's less calories than avocado, then what the actual nutrient density of that looks very different to the calories. So yeah, this might be less calories, so you might lose weight in the short term, but your cognitive function is going to decline. So you're not going to be able to make really good switched on choices about food later on because that nutritional support's not there. Your energy levels are going to dip. You're going to get spikes and crashes. You're not going to have sustainable energy if you are eating that avocado, which you're going to have a better workout and be able to burn more calories if you're eating nutrient dense food. Okay. So that is driving me nuts at the moment. So that's a little bit helpful for you. If you've been counting calories, I suggest you rethink that and start to consider the nutrient density of your foods instead. Then we've got exercise. So obviously exercise is really important in improving your health span. So this is bridging the gap between your lifespan, living longer, but actually living healthier for longer. Rest and managing stress. This is going to be critical, absolutely critical for enhancing your performance and recovery, because increase in stress and decrease in rest or anything along those lines of that is going to create hormone imbalances. It's going to create, if it's chronic and long term, you're going to start to look at things like adrenal fatigue and increased cortisol and adrenaline pumping all of the time. So this is going to then take away from other body functions and other systems, because the body will shut those down. It will shut down the digestive system because it's not essential for survival. It will shut down fertility. It's going to shut down things that are non-essential for survival, and it's going to keep only those things that are going to save you from a lion going. Reducing your toxic load. This plays a huge impact on enhancing your performance and recovery, because a toxic load comes from all different areas. So it can come from the products that you're using in your home, your personal care, your cleaning products, deodorants. The deodorants and perfumes and things like that are massive. Environmental, exactly. The air that you're breathing, the pesticides on the foods, like all of these kinds of things. So toxins are not 100% avoidable, like it's just not, but how your body is able to process those toxins is really important, and minimizing your toxins as much as you can is going to be critical, because your body systems are going to be optimized, they're going to be working really well. And these also contribute to so many health disruptions. So they do contribute to brain cognitive function, hormones, so how your body is reacting. So hormones are really important for performance and also for recovery. So if these are being absolutely overloaded with toxins from deodorants and perfumes and personal care products, and deep heat, I don't know if I'm allowed to, I'm just going to say it anyway. It's my webinar. My masterclass. So things like your wrap gel and your deep heats, and these are chemicals. And when you're putting those on your body is absorbing those chemicals. So it might give you a bit of relief now, but the body doesn't know how to process those afterwards. It doesn't know what to do. So instead of being able to excrete them, it's like, you bloodstream, you have them, and it's like, well, I don't want them, you have it, and then we end up with it sitting in our tissue, in our cells, lymph system, and the body can't get rid of it. It doesn't know what to do with it, so we get this toxic overload. Then you're going to feel sluggish, you're going to feel tired, the brain's not going to be functioning properly. We can have all kind of mood and behavior issues. We can see these in kids and adults, all of these kinds of things, and that is going to hinder your performance and recovery. So what you are doing daily matters so much when it comes to bridging that gap between health span and lifespan, but also helping to enhance your performance and recovery. Can you talk breath work quickly? Which part? Incorporating breathing into exercising and breath work for reducing stress, supporting hormones and stuff like that. Just breath work. You're like a breathing king. Breathe.
Breathing. Okay, so for stressful
enhancing
performance. Well, you want to upregulate the nervous system first. So you want to increase the breaths per minute. So inhale, exhale as quickly as you can. Usually elevates the heart rate. We're getting primed, ready to work out. You want to do the opposite if you want to bring the heart rate down. So breathing in through the nose with the long exhaling.
Just briefly, what basically Matt is saying is that there are so many different ways to breathe, and when we're talking enhancing performance, so as you're just about to play a game of football, that's the kind of breathing that you would do for a start to upregulate the nervous system, so the body is almost going into that fight or flight response, ready to be chased by a lion. And then the other one that he was just saying about the long exhale is bringing that heart rate again. So when you're training and rehearsing, like when you're actually training on a daily basis, not on game day, you want the nervous system to be...
Or better still, if you are training on a daily basis and you need to bring the heart rate down quicker, and use the breathing pattern to bring your heart rate down, to stop yourself from hitting that fatigue mark, regathering, refocus, ready to go again.
So you can recover much quicker by simply using the breath.
For example, we just had Andrew from RPH just go to Romania and compete in Romania for, was it a 5-day enduro? So one of the breathing patterns that I got him to do was sustainable breathing patterns to keep his heart rate at a level where he can control it, where it wouldn't hit fatigue, because they're riding something like 8 hours a day.
Motorbike.
4 days a week, so where it's just non-stop, up and down. When the heart rate's elevated and you get up a hill, you're going to bring it back down as fast as you can. Find a level playing field where you can regather and refocus. So imagine what the nervous system is doing there. Heart rate, the body, intensity, it's all over the show. So breathing is very important. You need to recover with breathing, and breathing through the nose more so important than anything.
And everyone just close their mouth then and start breathing through their nose. Keep going.
So, and another one is sleep. If we're not recovering well enough and we're not sleeping well enough, we can use our breathing patterns for sleeping also, not just for working out, not just for recovery, but for our sleep patterns.
I did have sleep somewhere. It must be on a nice slide.
Breathing patterns for sleep are very beneficial. If you are a bad sleeper, sometimes you use a different type of breathing pattern to bring the heart rate back down, get you into that relaxed rhythm, and before you know it, you'll be out to it. You won't even realise. Other ones, Wim Hof. What else is it? There's plenty of different varieties you can use. For
stress, anxiety, for recovery, for all of these different kinds of things. So breath work is going to be absolutely amazing tool that you can use all around for anything. And there are specific types of breath work that you're going to use for different kind of recoveries and enhancing body systems. So that's like a super tiny recap of that. So it's definitely something.
Guarding also. So guarding is a big one for breath work.
So any kind of injuries and things like that, if you're working through chronic pain or long-term injuries, old injuries, breath work is going to be an amazing tool to incorporate with that. So maybe that is something that you want to dive into and look and do a bit of research around. I hope that we've just given you kind of a snippet. Like that's a really tiny snippet of what's possible with that. So it's another thing that we incorporate a lot in our training studio as well.
You'll breathe.
Okay. Gosh. Okay. Are you taking notes, guys? All right. Tools for implementation. Now we're going to touch on a few of the others. So we've given you breath work, the trigger point, the myofascial release techniques, and we have so many others we could go through with you, but I'm trying to stay on track with this. Okay, so we are going to chat with you guys a little bit about these couple of systems. So these in particular, because the one on, it's my right, I don't know if you're seeing it in a mirrored way, but the protein there, that kit is a performance bundle kit, and that is only available this month. So this is, if you're watching this in August, if you're not, that really sucks. But this is an August promo only. So if you are looking at getting started, you're already well on your way, you're an elite athlete, this kit, honestly, pop it in your LRP or send us a message to get started, because this is a starter kit as well. You want to get hold of this. It's absolutely amazing. And they are all of the tools that we use for that. Then we're looking at the internal support, heavy internal support. Most of this is external except the protein. And then we're looking at the internal support, which Matt's going to talk about some pretty amazing results that he's had with that as well. So first up, we have got, so here we're looking at the Lifelong Vitality Supplement. So these are a nutritional supplement complex that I've been taking for 5 years, almost 6 years since Cooper was born. And Matt's been taking on and off for a majority of that time as well.
Just started more consistently recently because I've hit a bit of a lull. There's something missing. No, there's just something missing. I know what it is. It's supplementation. So we just can't get enough nutrients from our food these days. No matter how good sometimes your nutrition is, you're just lacking that extra, whatever it might be. From soil depletion.
There's so many reasons for that. We're looking at soil depletion. We're looking at how much nutrition we're actually using on a daily basis. So if you think of how much more cognitive brain function we're using on a daily basis, physically, all of that kind of stuff, it's a lot more than our ancestors were. So we are actually needing a lot more nutrients. And then I don't even get me started on the depletion of nutrients in our food, the pesticides in the food, the travel, all the things, huge. So I have got plenty of other masterclasses where I've done a really deep dive into sort of the nutritional side separately. Then the MetaPower, I did a whole masterclass just on MetaPower a few weeks ago. So if you want that, let me know, but we're going to chat about that a little bit in a moment. And then also we'll talk about the components of this bundle as well. So let's start with the MetaPower. So this is a new release in the last couple of weeks, and it is a game changer when it comes to longevity, health span. Like, I could confidently say, like, everybody needs this as a supplement. Whether you are on point, you are going to refine it with this. If you're just starting out and need that energy kick, the sleep, anything, this is like, it's pretty awesome. Now, it complements the lifelong vitality supplements perfectly as well. So the combo together is next level. But let's chat a little bit about some of the new. So this is a bit of an idea of what a MetaPower daily routine might look like. So there's 3 components of it. We're looking at the MetaPower Advantage, which is the collagen satchels. We're looking at the MetaPower Assist, which is your capsule that you would take with food, and that helps to regulate blood glucose spikes, massive for aging, cellular DNA protection, all of that kind of stuff. And then we're looking at the MetaPower Oil, which also is really helpful for, it's got like your grapefruit and peppermints and things in it. So it's really refreshing, great to sip on, helps with any cravings, things like that. So using this system personally, I was like dropped coffee right back. Like I could easily, so my days are 4 a.m. till late. Like today I was at work at by 5 a.m. this morning. So I'm getting up at 4. And so we've had after school activities, we've had football training, all these kinds of things. So my days can be really big and busy and quite intense. So for me, that reaching for a coffee in the afternoon is really easy to do. And my coffee intake could increase easily to at least 4 coffees a day, about 4 coffees a day. But since taking this, I'm down to, like, I could easily just have 1 coffee a day or even none. So for me, so for you, it might be sugar. It might be, the beauty of this system is it actually will support your body system in what it needs and how to optimize it. So it's very personal to everyone. So what that would look like might be a couple of drops of the oil in your water in the morning, and the MetaPower Advantage, which is the one she's got there, which is the collagen supplement. If you wake up and you're really sluggish and that in the morning, you might take it in the morning. Personally, I like it around 2 p.m. for that 2 p.m. slump where I'm like, okay, like I need that pick me up. So I take it in the afternoon. I could easily take it both morning and afternoon, but they come in a pack of 30. So it's kind of exactly a month. So I don't, but I wake up feeling really good in the mornings, and I'm feeling really well rested. And the beautiful thing is the knock-on effect of having that advantage in the afternoon at 2 o'clock means I'm not crashing to bed with the kids at 7:30 at night. I've got that extra time to actually just wind down, do a face serum, pop the diffuser on, even if it's just that extra 15 minutes, but I can wind down properly, which means I'm getting a better sleep as well, all from taking that. So it's not just the amazing components of that we are getting, of that system that we're getting, but actually the knock-on effect of what you can create when you utilize that time. Then we've got the Assist, which you might take with you want to take with the largest meal of the day, which could be lunch or dinner, and especially your largest carbohydrate meal of the day, because it helps to regulate those blood glucose levels. And then the Active, the blend, the oil blend, I actually have in the diffuser just here in our little bubble diffuser, which is super cute. It gives that little puffs. And now, or you can diffuse that. You can use it for topically for body brushing, things like that, or you can pop it in your water, which is what I do. A couple of extra drops in the afternoon. Now this is kind of a look over, which you can see that they could pop it in a couple of times in some areas. So if you were someone that is just starting out, you might be really struggling with weight and things like that. Your routine of taking these supplements is going to look a bit different to someone like perhaps me, that, and but myself and Matt, who are already doing most of the things nutritionally and exercise and all of these, and we're looking to optimize that. Okay, so it is important. So we're here to support you for that as well. So if you decide to have a go at this system, then let us know, because we can help you navigate how to personalize the approach and schedule for you and what you want to achieve. Okay. All right. So I thought I had I'll come back to that performance bundle in a moment. Just going to go over the Active blend quickly, and then Matt can touch on the Advantage, because that's probably the one he's seen the most benefits with. So this one I found really amazing for feeling fuller for longer as well. So actually taking that with my largest meal of the day, which for me is usually more brunch or lunch, and I tend to have a lighter meal in the afternoon. It's the evening, sorry, and we eat quite early so that we've got time for the digestive system to settle. So you want to be doing all of these other things that are going to play into that, and start to optimize, which is really powerful. So this is going to, the oil, sorry, this one is actually the oil. So this over here. So this, we're looking at creating that stimulating environment, we're putting it in the water. It's going to help with any sort of cravings and popping it in the hands, taking, it's going to help with that pick me up, like that instant wake up kind of feeling. It's got that peppermint in there. Anything else you want to add with the oil?
I find it a cross between peppermint and On Guard. It's one of those ones that I really enjoy at the moment. Yeah, I can't get enough of it. It is a good one. I can't really put a finger on what it is, but yeah, it's good. It's between peppermint and On Guard. This by far, I think, is in between. The Metapower, yeah, it's, I don't know. I can't put a finger on what it is, what it does, but it is good. It gives you that uplifting feeling. Whether it's making me feel rejuvenated or not, I'm not sure, but it's definitely up there with the top 3, apart from rosemary. But yeah.
And this is also, yeah, it helps to support the hunger cravings and things like that. The grapefruit in that is quite particular for that. Grapefruit's also the oil of body image, body self-love, something like that as well. So it has some really, it's actually also got some really beautiful energetic properties as well, which I love to look at, if that interests you.
You don't get that sugar craving at all. Not that I'm a big sweet tooth, but you definitely don't feel any sugar cravings. You don't really need to go for any coffee if you have one of those, or the Metapower, the other one.
Yeah, so that's the oil. So we actually use that in quite a variety of ways. So the Metapower Assist are the capsules that you're going to take with the meal, and that we take with the meal, and that is helping to regulate insulin, addressing insulin and blood and sugar levels. Now, this is really critical for closing that gap on health span, lifespan, and optimizing performance, because you're not going to get those big peaks and dips. And that is also what contributes to cellular degradation and like the and nerve damage, cardiovascular disease, kidney damage, eye damage, all of these neurodegenerative and mood kind of disorders over time that are contributed to by those blood sugar spikes. So if you think we can regulate those, of course, that's going to enhance our performance as well, and our recovery. Then we are looking at, so one of the key ingredients in that is the DMJ mulberry leaf. And it looks, and the reason it works so well is you can see here, it actually looks like the molecule of glucose from carbohydrates. And the actual molecule of the mulberry leaf travels through the body, it binds to the enzymes that break down carbs and turn them into sugar. So if it's binding to those enzymes, it means that the actual glucose can pass through the body. So not all of it is being broken down and uptaken as sugar in the body system. So that's how we get that stable energy without the blood sugar spikes and drops. That's one sort of way that it works internally in the body system. Yeah, quick overview. That one helps. It's going to help support blood sugar, glucose levels, reduce carbohydrate metabolism, and it's traditionally been used in Western herbal medicine to increase, reduce, relieve flatulence, carminative, and things like that. So amazing internal support. Okay, so then we're going to talk the Metapower Advantage. So this has actually got so many amazing ingredients in it, and I'll give you a quick overview of a couple of those. So I'm not sure if you can see here, but it's got your resveratrol, lipsomol C, vitamin C, biotin, hyaluronic acid, which you might find familiar for skin. So it's going to be really amazing internally for skin. It has got the NMN, so our NAD, which is cellular, which is a component of our cells that it decreases massively from the age of 25, and it is responsible for our energy creation and things like that. So and cellular protection, all of this. So this is why from the age of 25, we actually start to age much quicker, and you can start to feel those energy drops, fertility, all of these kinds of things. So there are, and actually the sea buckthorn is another key component in there. So these synergistic ingredients actually help to complement each other in the body system, supporting, regulating, absorbing, and utilizing the NAD and marine collagen in this in particular. So the marine collagen is a really powerful component of this, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, because I spoke about collagen and the need for that for our tissue for repair and performance. And Matt is going to chat a little bit about that in a second. But a little overview of what you're going to get from this specific supplement that we're loving at the moment, which is the collagen component. This is going to enhance collagen formation, support skin health, added benefits of the antioxidants, which help to reduce free radicals formed in the body. And this is what attacks cells, creates damage within the body as well. So this is, and this is really going to help to support our performance overall. Contains 9 types of collagen, which are broken down into tripeptides, which means they're more absorbable in the body. So this is 12 times more absorbable collagen supplement than any other collagen on the market. That is super cool. Now, because it's broken into tripeptide form and is activated, so it's hydrolyzed and activated when you put it in the water. So you need to put it in the water and drink it straight away. Don't sip on it throughout the day because you'll lose the collagen benefits. But it is activated once it hits the water. Now, because with regular collagen supplements, especially liquid ones, to be able to hold that collagen in its form and in its quality, you need to add a stabilizer to hold it there. Otherwise, you're losing the collagen benefits. So any of those liquid collagens that you're buying off the shelf need to contain a stabilizer, which means you are consuming the stabilizing ingredients as well. So keep that in mind when you are looking at collagen supplements. It's going to help to increase hydration, which we spoke about before, needing more of those minerals and not just water on its own. It's going to assist the connective tissue production, maintain, support collagen health. All of these are so relevant to performance and recovery. Helps convert states of food into energy, supports energy production, maintains, support health, hair, nails, skin, bone health, all of that. So it's really optimizing our overall health. It's also going to enhance the absorption of dietary, vitamin, mineral, and nutrients, which I discussed before, of being able to, the more nutrient density that you can consume and absorb, versus calories as such. Obviously, that's going to be really powerful in contributing to optimizing all of your body systems. Okay, Matt is going to, so with the marine collagen, Matt has been taking that. How have you found that the most? That's probably the better product you've been taking.
That's this one?
Yeah.
Right, well, I guess this was the game changer for me. This is what changed, right? And my nutrition I thought was pretty good with bone broth, hydration, magnesiums, everything. So going back towards the start of the year, I was back playing football again, rugby league. And yeah, most games I was ending up with some sort of slight twinge, strain, muscle fatigue, muscle spasms, multiple twinges, on and off, where I just play through it and deal with it at the end of the day and go back through recovery, which was fine for me because I was good at recovery. But it was getting really annoying, and I couldn't play to my potential, even though I know I'm getting too old for it. So when Ashley brought this home and I went, can I give this a go? This did change everything. It was pretty amazing, much to her disliking, because now I use it all the time. But first time, nothing. No twinges, no muscle spasms, no anything. And I could not believe it. I could run as hard and fast as I could back when I was in my 20s. And that was saying a lot, considering my training methods. I've changed a lot over the years, and even still how I was training with my power performance, it felt good. It felt great in and out of the studio, even at football training. But when it came to game day, it just couldn't, my body wouldn't hold up. This changed that. I could go again, but I'm not going to. There's no way in the world. I wouldn't put my body through that again. But these things are awesome. I'd like everyone to give that a go, because you will notice a difference. Definitely. I'm not going to stop taking those.
He's already like, make you reorder. We're not going to run out.
So that it really does make a difference when you add these extra little bits on top. Yeah, the collagen. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
definitely changed.
And it's when I spoke about about this whole system as a whole and how it will actually help give your body what you need. For me, I actually found it amazing for the brain function and the clarity and focus to be able to sit there. So I am very like, I can't sit there and focus. I find it really like challenging, probably borderline ADD or ADHD. And so when I was taking this and was able to actually sit there and focus, that was amazing for me. And then also to give me energy in the afternoons, that I felt like I had that just sustainable energy, not like buzzing, but a sustainable energy then. And I wasn't crashing to sleep at nighttime, which just falling asleep with the kids at 7 o'clock, it meant that I had that extra half an hour to an hour to actually get up and wind down properly, like I said. Now, this has such a knock-on effect then, because that is then contributing to better sleep. Sleep is absolutely, so we haven't dove very deeply into sleep, but sleep is absolutely critical for performance and recovery. And if you are not doing things to enhance and optimize your sleep, you are absolutely missing out. And I will touch on that with one of the oils in the other one as well.
You could cut out coffee altogether, basically, if you just drank that.
Yeah. Quite easily.
Quite easy.
Okay, so there we are. I knew I had sleep in this one. Okay, so that is this component here that we spoke about, which is the MetaPower component. Now it comes with the lifelong vitality supplements as well. These are your nutritional complex. These are your vitamins, minerals, absolutely optimized, highest absorption of a multivitamin on the market. If you were to buy the ingredients in these separately from supermarkets or from pharmacies or naturopaths, because supermarkets you're not absorbing anything, you're just paying them out. You would be spending over $600 for this, and that's without the MetaPower and the collagen. That would be a whole lot extra. But that kit with both the lifelong and MetaPower, just a heads up, is $230. So super affordable when it comes to an overall system like that. And there's other ways we can help you get that for free too. But the lifelong vitality supplements, you're looking at an omega component, which is all your fatty acids. So think brain function, oxidative stress, all of that. Then you've got the cellular component, alpha CRS, which is your cellular DNA protection, all of that. And fighting free radicals in the body. So stress component, all of that, or like reducing stress or dealing with stress, adaptogenics. So it helps the body to adapt to stresses. And then it's got the food nutrient complex, which is all your vitamins and minerals that also, I think, has the various adaptogenic herbs in it as well, and adaptogenic oil. So it's enhanced with essential oil complexes in those. Super cool. So that's that. As a brief overview. Now, the performance bundle. So these are amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm stoked with this, and I'm spewing it's a limited time offer. If we're really lucky, they'll keep them on, but at the moment, it's just a limited time. So how am I? Reducing the toxic load, which I spoke about before. Now, this kit comes with a protein. I think it's just the vanilla protein. They do have a chocolate one, but I don't know if that's available in the kit. I think it's just the vanilla protein. I much prefer the vanilla anyway. So good. Now that is a protein. Yeah, I added into like lots of the cooking and things like that for the kids as well. So I add that into like brownies and like add protein pancakes, all of these kinds of things. So we're incorporating that in, because protein is really critical for repair in the body. So protein, super important for recovery and repair in the body. It comes with the bath salts, which are awesome. Always love bath salts. So we either put them in the ice bath or we pop them in having a regular bath. Now this also comes with the wild orange and cedarwood. So this plays into a couple of these as well. It comes with the ice blue, is it ice? Yeah, the ice blue capsules with the polyphenols. So they are, yeah, Matt takes those more so.
Inflammation internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well. And then the ice blue stick, which we sell so many of in the studio. Everyone loves them. We're always stocking up on those. It is the best, like a million times better than your deep heat. And it has zero toxins in it. Only side benefits, not side.
You're using the cream. The cream is amazing, but I found the roll, the tube it's better again.
The stick is amazing.
Stick is better again.
So the stick is our ice blue. Added, with the copaiba added. Really, so the copaiba added into that is phenomenal. So that in itself, we could go on and do a whole webinar on that and how it works and integrates with the endocannabinoid system. It enhances that. So I actually take copaiba itself internally, just invert the bottle and take a drop under the tongue. So as a pre-workout, because it actually helps the body adapt to the exercise and workout that you're doing as well, and muscularly, neurologically. It's super amazing. It's really an all-rounder oil. I wouldn't be able to live without it. So while Matt's top faves are up there with the rosemary medipower, mine is definitely copaiba. So it is enhanced in this ice blue stick. So copaiba is also really amazing for pain and inflammation as well. It's got the in the ice blue blend, it's got wintergreen, which is like your menthol as well. So it literally kind of like, it smells like a deep heat type thing, like a football club room, but it works phenomenally and very quickly. Codes uses it as well. We use it on the kids for growing pains and things like that.
You don't greasy and putting in your eye. And
it just it goes really easily. Silky smooth.
It just works so much quicker.
Yeah. And what's your experience with that? Because you use that, we go through that a lot.
Absolutely love the deep heat cream, and I still do use that. The ice blue. Sorry, not
ice blue. Definitely does not use
the ice blue cream. As what you were showing the other day on my lower back. So my lower back's been playing up a little bit. So I was rubbing that in, only because we don't have the stick available at the moment. We're all out because I used it all.
Yeah.
Because generally I keep that in my sports bag, so when I'm training, coaching, playing, I've got that there handy. It is a game changer. It's that much better than the cream.
And using it as a preventative.
I tend to use it a little bit more in the studio, just so when the clients are training, they don't have to worry about going washing their hands and trying to get the cream off their hands. They can don't have to worry about rubbing it in too much. It's just easy application, done. It is just more user friendly and works out a little bit better with the copaiba.
And you use it preventatively as well as afterwards?
Generally so. If I know that I've got strains here and there, preventatively, you can use it as well. Like, especially on the back of the neck and stuff like that. If you get stiff in areas where you know you're going to get inflammation, either on the lower back, hamstrings, neck, it is
any just kind of tension as well. So if you're stressful kind of person and know that you have tension around there, amazing. And the beautiful thing is that because it is completely non-toxic or natural, you can use it long term and the body isn't going to build up a resilience to it. It's like eating broccoli. Your body doesn't stop absorbing those nutrients because you consume them all the time. So the beautiful thing about this is because it's natural, the body knows how to process all of the ingredients, utilize them, excrete whatever it doesn't need, and you're going to always keep getting the benefits from it, so you don't lose out on the benefits over time. And also that it's safe to use long term as well, so you can keep using it forever and it's safe. So reducing the toxic load is massive, and this will give you a few products that you can use in place of regular toxic products that you might use. So the ice blue also you can use on the chest for respiratory to get that clear breathing. So it's got the peppermint in there as well, so that's going to help you to breathe better as a pre-workout too. So I do love that. The wild orange is amazing for reducing your toxic load around the home in general. Also is the oil of abundance, and it's really energizing too. So if you didn't have the MetaPower, it's a great one to use in your water. It's got amazing immune benefits as well. So wild orange is my go-to if I start to get a bit of a scratchy throat. I could go a million times around the world of how you could use wild orange, but eliminating cleaning products around the home, antibacterials, hand washes, hand soaps, all of these regular toxic products that were accumulating during the day. So it's a great way to use those. We've got the massage balls, which you can use for the trigger point, which I showed you at the start of this masterclass, and also to actually use them as massage balls, which is super exciting. Cody's already asked if he can have those out of the kit. And then we have got the cedarwood that one comes in as well. So we talk about optimizing sleep. Cedarwood is amazing for that. It's also really great for the skin. But I love cedarwood. It's really quite earthy. Yeah, a woody smell to it. Yeah, it's different, different than lavender, and it works just as good. Exactly. So especially great for people who don't like lavender. Now, wild orange can also be really calming. So whilst it's energizing, it can also be very calming. So these two together in the diffuser at night is going to be amazing for sleep. If you don't have a diffuser yet, the cedarwood I love on the bottom of the feet, temples, back of the neck. So I usually use vetiver or copaiba for that, but cedarwood is one that I do use if I've run out of any of those, and I love it. I do put it in our diffuser blend at night as well because I love it for sleep. I actually accidentally came across cedarwood and like love it now because I had run out of lavender for the kids' room for sleep, and I'd used that and I went, oh, I've heard cedarwood's good for sleep, and it was amazing, and I've really fallen in love with it. So it's also really good for hair too.
I was going to say about the protein, after like many other different types of protein, I felt heavy after bloated, but the protein, you can tell it's a good quality one.
Super clean.
It feels clean.
Yeah, super clean.
It goes down really easy. It doesn't have all the fillers in it.
Matt's has a bit of the gut issues and things like that. I have an iron stomach, so if he's saying that is really light, then anyone with kind of gut issues is really going to love that as well. So a quick cap on the polyphenol complex as well. So this has a bunch of different ingredients. These are a capsule that you take, and you can take 2 of these throughout the day. So you can take one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And this is going to be really amazing, as Matt said, for like your kind of inflammation, any pain relief, things like that. It also is great for, where did I just have? So it's got a lot of the Ayurvedic medicinal ingredients in it as well. So it's going to be really great for supporting overall health and well-being. It's also going to help to fight free radicals in the body. It's antioxidant rich for that. So it's going to be really good. And also the turmeric in it, which is why it's really supportive for inflammation, any kind of pain, injury, and things like that. Anything else I'm missing on those? No, I think I got them all. Okay. All right, that was kind of a lot, but also barely a snippet of what we could share with you. So we could really go on for ages. So we do actually, so on a side note, we do actually work with clients who are in studio here in the Whitsundays. We have a studio. We also run whole body, ultimate body recovery workshops. And we are looking at doing this online coming up as well. So whilst we usually do these in person, there are a couple of hours we are looking at doing this online. So keep your eyes peeled for those. If you don't already follow us, we are Evo Prime Fitness on Instagram and Facebook. So you can follow us there. Ash Lade Health Coach and Coach Matt, Evo Prime Matt. If you want to come and chat to us, say hi, stay connected. We love talking in our chat boxes as well. Okay, and then also if you love any of these products that we've spoken about today, there's 3 ways that you can purchase these as well. So we do have a free 30-day Meta Health program that we're running as well. So you'll get free access into that, which is all your daily habits, lifestyle daily habits. Now, as I mentioned, the performance bundle comes as a starter kit, which is super awesome. That is only for August. So really jump on that if that has piqued your interest.
Keep that in there.
and the Meta Power bundle as well. So the Meta Power with the Lifelong Vitality, those together will be an absolutely amazing combo if you can. Otherwise, one or the other, add it in, layer it in. But honestly, dive in, give those a go. The Lifelong Vitality supplements and Meta Power both have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you do not love them, you get a full money-back guarantee, even if you've consumed them all. But we know that you're going to love them. And as well, like I mentioned, grab a starter kit and we can actually help you get those for free. And then if you are already in our doTERRA team or have a doTERRA account, jump on and you can order any of these on your loyalty rewards order. So when you go in, activate your loyalty rewards, just click loyalty rewards order or edit your loyalty rewards order and add any of these products in. When you do that, if you process that order before the 15th of the month, this month you will get Copaiba for free as well, a free roller of the Copaiba. So do that before the 15th. It needs to be 125 points order, and that you are also going to get your points back, so you're going to be able to get free products, redeem that for free products next month as well. Super cool. Now Copaiba, as I mentioned, we kind of touched just even a snippet of how much we love that oil. It's what in itself, but this as the roller temples back of the neck for sleep, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, daily functioning, focus, attention.
How you actually say it? I swear you change it. How you say it every time.
I know, I've said it a few different times because it depends on who's on listening.
Okay.
I always call it Copaiba, but then I've heard people Dr. Hill calls it Copaiba.
Whatever works.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Cool. Okay, so 3 ways that you can grab hold of any of those products. Yeah, and if you have any questions, want to stay connected with us, we'll talk to you all soon.